And welcome to Flightdeck Live. I am Tim Capper along with Cliffy D. Pine. Alouettes coming to a game today, Cliff, where they really did not need to win it all. Everything was already wrapped up in the Eastern Division, but yet you would never know. Even though the Alouettes lost on the last-second field goal by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, 28-27, this Alouettes team was actually very impressive today.
They really were. I mean, we've been talking about over the past couple of weeks just how this team has looked okay in some instances and then just flat out terrible in others. I think this was the most complete game they've played in the past couple of weeks, to tell you the truth. I think the way they played Winnipeg, despite the fact they had nothing to gain from this game other than a 13-win season, I think the way they came out and played Winnipeg today, fought them to the end, and got out of this game with no injuries, with some stats that I'm sure are going to be really nice and some good momentum to go into the Eastern Final in 2 weeks. I think Montreal played this game as best as they possibly could. And overall, despite the technically it's a loss, despite the loss, I feel very confident and I feel very good with what we saw today.
Cody Fajardo played 3/4 of the game today. He played through the third quarter. Just at the end of right up to the end of the third quarter when Davis Alexander took over for him. We've been, as you said, really concerned lately on how the offense is doing. Offense still did not start off as we thought they would in the first quarter, but they did start to get it together. And Cody looked good. He really did. He was consistently consistent, Cody, through those almost 4 quarters that he played tonight.
Yeah, he looked like a guy that's ready to lead this team back to the Grey Cup. And believe me, if you're an Alouettes fan, that's what you want to see out of your quarterback. In fact, everything from this team. I mean, offensive line did their job properly. Walter Fletcher looked really good, both in receiving and in rushing as well. Even when Davis Alexander came into the game, he looked solid as well. I mean, I think this offense, while it wasn't perfect, was clicking at good times. Jose Maltos, of course, still kicking lots of field goals. And, the Alouettes were definitely making it. You could tell they were trying to win this game. Like, they wanted to send these fans home happy. They wanted to at least give them confidence knowing that, hey, listen, in 2 weeks, if you thought this was good, wait till you see what we have in store for you. And that's exactly how I came away from this game. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what this team's going to do in 2 weeks. It's going to be epic. I just have a feeling right now that this Eastern Final game, regardless of whether it's Ottawa or Toronto that comes in, they're in for a fight.
Alouettes surprised everybody today. The organization announced that this is the 3rd consecutive sellout for the team so far, 4th overall in 2024, and it's been a long time since that's occurred. And whether it couldn't have been any better, and we still have to talk about. We'll talk about the stats here real quickly too, but we got to talk about Mother Nature. We don't know how it came across on television, but as everybody saw, Winnipeg did. That surprisingly went for a 60-yard field goal late in the fourth quarter. Missed it. Alouettes got the ball back with about a minute 30-ish left, I'm going to give or take.
Actually, a little bit less than that.
But still, but then after that, Alouettes in the fourth quarter really could not get anything done at all to extend their lead, which they were currently up by 2.
Yeah.
And that last drive itself, again, Mother Nature, the weather was nice here today, but then I don't think even meteorologists could predict what happened tonight.
Well, it's funny because they did mention that there's a possibility of showers, but it was supposed to be earlier in the day. And when we didn't get that, I'm like, oh, okay, so I guess the storm passed through. But then all of a sudden, it's like the skies opened up, and I guess Mother Nature must be a Winnipeg Blue Bombers fan that wanted to make sure that they would get the bye week and host the Western Final in 2 weeks. Because all of a sudden, just a storm surge kind of came through, and not nearly as bad as what you saw down in the hurricanes down in the south, but just enough rain to come through, and the wind just came through.
Leaves. It was sort of announced by the leaves, because the leaves coming off the trees here over near that surround Purcell Molson. You knew something was up.
It almost looked like confetti. Like you would have thought confetti was being thrown. Like, oh no, you're celebrating Alouettes win too quickly, and look what happened. Like, just a major gust of wind as Joseph Zeman was trying to punt the ball away. Smartly, they let the clock run down to about 17 seconds.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, though, he kicked it right into that gust of wind. So gave Winnipeg great field position. All they had to do was just, to make no mistake, get Sergio Castillo out, and that's your ball game.
It was. It's joked around. It was kind of like the football gods making it up for the Alouettes coming back for the Miracle on Mount Royal a few years back. So you never know. But you know what? I think what I honestly think that Bomber fans, they got away with one. The team was able to win, but I think it just goes to show, even with a team, Winnipeg was the team that needed to do something tonight.
Yeah.
The Alouettes played with them for 4 straight quarters.
Yeah.
They didn't get the win, but they played with them for 4 straight quarters on something that they did not, a game that was really meaningless.
Yeah. And I think they coached that way too. I think this game was the play calling, the coaching, everything. It was just, as I said, play this game because you have to play it. Just don't get hurt. Don't do anything stupid. There's no need to be a hero. You didn't need the win. The win would have been nice, no question about it. But I think the Alouettes coaching staff, everybody, they played the game they were supposed to. If they would have gotten the win, great. That would have been awesome. A 13-win season is very, very exciting. But again, I think this team did exactly what they needed to do to establish themselves. Guarantee in 2 weeks' time, it'll be a different team, and you're going to see a team that's going to be ready to go, regardless of who they're going to be playing next in 2 weeks.
Yep. So the Alouettes end up the 2024 regular season at 12-5-1. Again, they will be hosting the Eastern Final versus a to-be-determined opponent, which will be decided next Saturday, whether it be the Ottawa Redblacks or the Toronto Argonauts. And considering the both games that we saw yesterday from these teams, that games that really didn't mean anything, Ottawa looked good. Toronto. I mean, they were both very interesting games yesterday, considering. But
yeah,
let's talk about some of the stats here and give some of these guys props. Remember, we will be going to this in more detail, most likely on the show this Wednesday. But stay tuned, as I said on our last episode, that we may be trying to do something this week. We'll see, even though there is a bye week. So stay tuned. For the Alouettes, Cody Fajardo was 16-20, only for 171 yards and a touchdown. Davis Alexander ended up going 7 for 9 for 100, which was pretty good, as I said. And Cody did that through basically just less than 3 quarters of play. Leading rusher for the team today, Walter Fletcher, 12 attempts. 12 attempts. Well, I remember we were talking a couple weeks ago. When was the last time he had 10? When's the last time he had 12? 53 yards and a touchdown. STE actually had 6 for 44. Davis Alexander also had a rushing touchdown.
And we also have got to give props to STE for that. Lucky Whitehead nearly had a house call.
Yeah.
Stopped by Sean Thomas Erlington with a shoestring tackle. I mean, he still gave Winnipeg incredible field position, but to prevent that touchdown from being scored, I mean, hats off to SE. I mean, he's been playing really inspired football ever since they traded Jesh Monantu to the BC Lions. He's had to step up now along with Fletcher, and he has done a very, very outstanding job.
Leading receiver for the Alouettes today was Cole Loudspeaker.
Oh my! We got to talk for a second about that catch he made. Absolutely, absolute dime being thrown by Cody Fajardo. Just in the flats over here.
Yeah.
My goodness. And then Cole just comes up with it. Just outstanding. Simply outstanding. I mean, this guy has just been fire since he's been on this team. But, I mean, this year he has really come into his own and become a major, major receiver on this team.
Yep. He had 71 yards on the day. Tyler Sneed also chipped in with 60. Again, across the board, the Alouettes did well tonight on both, right when it comes to rushing and passing. So I was quite happy to see that, considering that all the things that we brought out, that we've seen the team just kind of stray away from at certain points during the regular season.
Yeah. No, it's one thing I will say about this game. I mean, they did what they had to do. Simply put, I mean, no, they did not get the win. Let's call it what it was.
Yeah.
Wins and losses do matter. Even though in this case the Alouettes didn't need the win, it would have been nice. But they played the game that they had to play, and again, just in talking with the guys afterwards, you get the sense that they're ready. They are ready to go for this Eastern Final. They don't care who they're going to face. They're ready. They played as complete a game as they could today. I think they set the table for what's going to be an absolutely outstanding matchup, regardless of who they're going to be facing.
I completely agree with you. Ty Beverett actually ended up having 5 defensive tackles today and a stack. He did break 100 tackles on the season with those 5.
Outstanding.
Yep. And
also damn near had an interception.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable play. I mean, Wesley Sutton helped with that, but and almost an interception. But they claimed it touched the ground. I have to take a look at the tape again. I didn't think the ball touched the ground. I think that should have counted as an interception, but it is what it is.
We'll have to go and watch it. As I said, it is what it is. And obviously, the breaking news, which we're going to mention here, and we'll talk about later too. The breaking news is that the CFL Commissioner Randy Ambrosie has been announced that he will be stepping down, or I think they actually did use the word retire, so I'll leave it at that. And so the CFL will be looking for their next CFL Commissioner.
Yep, and What can we say about Randy Ambrosie? I mean, we've got our thoughts on him, some good, some bad, but it should be interesting to note what his legacy is going to be. And I guess there'll be time to discuss that once the season's over. But all this to say is that in 2025, there will be a new CFL commissioner, and I guess we'll see who steps up and becomes the next leader in this league.
It'll be interesting. Obviously, if you've been around the CFL long enough, you know what it's like getting a new commissioner and the newer ideas. And, Commissioner Ambrosie brought in the global players and then et cetera, et cetera. So, again, it will be, I'm sure, a work in progress for the CFL front office. But all that aside, the Alouettes do lose to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers by a score of 28-27 by the grace of God. Or the help of God, or the help of Mother Nature,
It feels like the past two games here, weather has played a factor in some way, shape, or form. Can we just have a nice autumn day? I mean, it was a nice tailgate. And the weather was beautiful for that. But just with 17 seconds left, that's when Mother Nature decides to go.
Yeah, I know.
And just screw the Alouettes over.
Yeah, the blowhard that she is. By the way, we do want to thank everybody for showing up, even though it was postponed. Kind of a muted celebration for the meet and greet this year, but we do appreciate everybody coming out, and it will become like it did for the last 2 years. It will become a staple for us here at the Alouettes Flightdeck, because once you're getting to meet and greet you, the fans. It's one of my highlights of the broadcast season.
Absolutely. And if you got a chance to see this cartoon bird shirt, if you got a chance to get one today at the tailgate, please post it on your socials. Let us see them. We appreciate each and every one of you that came out, showed the love to us. You got some swag out of it. That's pretty awesome too. So yeah, we're excited where this podcast is going, what we've been able to accomplish so far, and what's to come too.
Yep. Don't forget, if you're watching this live on YouTube, make sure that you do hit the subscribe button and you do hit the like button and also the bell to get a notification when we do go live. If you happen to miss this, and you can watch it on X, on YouTube, and on Facebook and
Facebook, X, YouTube.
Thank you. And it will be broadcast also on Twitch coming up. And also the audio version will be available within the next 24 hours. But hey, if you're watching us live, you might as well go and watch us live now. So you might as well, right?
Absolutely.
Real quickly, we're going to go and say from Denny, he said many positive points today. However, on the last offensive possession, two runs down the center and kill the clock. Well, what can you do? What can you do? As I said,
it is what it is.
Mother Nature. So, again, the Alouettes lose to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers by 1 before a capacity crowd here at Percival Molson Stadium. Get ready for the East Final in 2 weeks. So, for everybody here, for the last time at Percival Molson Stadium, for Cliffy D, I'm Tim Capper. We'll talk to you soon.